Let's talk about cleanliness. I've got an issue that keeps coming up in the house where there are certain guys that are clean, pick up after themselves, pick up after others, do their chores. In general, if they're in an area, the area is going to be better off because of their presence. There are other guys who are the exact opposite, where they're like tornadoes. They're like my 7-year-old son. They walk into a room, the room's worse off than it was before they walked into it. Leaving stuff around, make their bed, never. Dirty clothes all over the floor. All of that is unacceptable, not only just in life in general, but it's actually a rule. And so if it's a rule in the house, so if you're not making your bed, if you're making messes, if your living space, your sleeping area is all dirty, you're violating the rules of the house that you're living in. And this is something that ideally you would pick up on naturally because you see the benefits in your life. I'm not an OCD clean freak personally, but I do keep a clean house. I love having a clean house. It makes me feel good, gives me a sense of accomplishment. I make my bed every morning. It's not military grade bed making, but in general, I throw the covers up and I make it look okay. And it takes me 10 seconds, if that. And I saw a YouTube video on it. There's some general who touched on it, but added some of the values and the benefits of doing this. But I just want to make this very, very clear that, you know, these little rules that I have, these suggested daily activities, you know, got into it with a guy yesterday about, you know, he didn't understand how his diet, like the food that he's consuming, the supplements that he's taking or not taking, he did not understand how that correlates with his recovery. And I don't know how much more clear I can make it. Your personal decisions, the little tiny decisions that you make day in and day out, from the moment you wake up, what do you listen to? What are you thinking about? What are you doing the second you wake up in the morning? And when you go to bed at night, every single second, every minute, these little tiny decisions that you make are going to affect the quality of your life. And that's what you're trying to learn in this sober living environment. My whole program is dedicated to producing successful, responsible adults integrated into society. So, and that's the same job I have with my children. So if you're not grasping this concept of little tiny things make a big difference, what you put in your mouth, what you do with your body, whether you lay down and do absolutely nothing with it all day, or whether you get up and actually exercise it every once in a while, whether you make your bed or whether you just live like a slob. These things are mandatory. Now, when you get out on your own and you're not and you're better equipped to not destroy yourself from your addiction, you can choose to be a slob. You can choose to eat crap all day, and that's not going to serve you well. You're probably going to end up right back in rehab where you started off, or dead, because those little tiny crappy decisions lead to bigger, more destructive crappy consequences. You got to catch on to this stuff, man. That's why it's part of my program. And if you have questions as to the validity to what I'm saying, I'm happy to sit down and give you more time on my experience with it. We can look up some other references where other people who are effective in living successful lives say the same thing. They all echo the same stuff. Again, to be clear, living in a Simplify Sober Living home, you need to make your bed when you wake up in the morning. You need to keep your area clean. You need to pick up after yourself. And heaven forbid you do a little extra above and beyond. Don't think that stuff doesn't get noticed. You're the guy that's going to get the house manager spot or the assistant manager spot or get a break when you need one. You guys that are not doing it, there's a long list of dudes that want to come into a nice house like this, because I'm not going to put up with it. You need to be progressing as a human. These little tiny things make a big difference.